You okay, buddy?
I hurt.
Yep, we all hurt.
Everybody hurts.
Everybody.
Oh, man. This is a sad episode of the Fantasy Chairmen podcast.
Hurts.
Sometimes. Fantasy Chairmen podcast. I am Ben.
And I'm Alex.
And everybody in the NFL got injured. It's all backups now. It's all backups.
Inflate your bubble suit because everyone needs one right now.
Every plan that you made going into this fantasy football season, you go ahead, just wipe it off your whiteboard and just start writing X's. I don't know.
Saw a lot of people saying, even if you didn't win this week, if you somehow made it without any injuries, you won.
Then you win.
It's going to be a process of elimination.
It was an absolute bloodbath out there, and it sucks. I hate it. That's the worst part of the game. But unfortunately, it is part of the game, and we must carry on.
We carry on.
We carry on.
We move on. We adapt and we overcome. We adapt and survive.
We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
You may be war-torn, but the war goes on.
That's it. That's it. We are coming at you right in the middle of Thursday Night Football. Miami Dolphins versus Jacksonville Jaguars. The beard versus the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
And where are we at right now, Alex? We're about midway through the second quarter, and so far, the beard is taking it.
Dolphins 21, Jacksonville 7. Yeah, beard, the Fitzmagic beard.
Just watched
ruling
Mike Gesicki catch a touchdown. I'm going to go ahead and say start Mike Gesicki in week 3.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Do that.
Also, Preston Williams.
Yes.
And if in a pinch you had to start Jordan Howard, good on you. Fell into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown.
Gosh.
And I was going to, if we recorded last night, I was going to say to start all those guys.
And
as well as James Robinson.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, normally we would be coming to you Thursday morning, but, conflicting schedules and life happens,
Life.
So we're coming to you Thursday night right now.
Finds a way.
Oh, my God. That's a terrible Jeff Goldblum impersonation.
It was really bad.
Well, what do we got in the slate, man?
Oh, we've got all sorts of injuries on the slate. We're going to cover some NFL news, and it's going to be pretty much just an extended segment of injuries. And then we're going to tell you about how we feel about some of the fill-ins, some of those waiver pickups that have already gone through. So if you blew half your fab money on Mike Davis, we'll kind of give you some thoughts on that and how we feel he will help your team out or not help your team out going through the next several weeks without Christian McCaffrey. Spoiler alert. Everybody already knows. And then we are going to get into a speed preview because we're not going to carry on for 2 hours today, Alex.
Last week,
it's not going to happen.
We went real long, but we're going to make some adjustments, and we're going to try and keep this episode to an hour.
We're giving you a speed preview. We're going to do a quick review of our miss on our jackpot matchup last week, so we are 1 for 1 right now. But we're trying not to go complete chalk. I mean, we want to give you something that, might pop off. And then, we'll have our jackpot matchup during the speed preview. And then we're going to give you the results on the hot prop and lock it from week 2 and pick our over-unders for week 3. And that is brought to you by our friends at ThriveFantasy, who have great contests going on for week 3 right now, giving out up to $30,000 in prizes using our code FANTASYCHAIRMEN or just Chairmen. You can get up to $50 deposited or matched on your first deposit. If you deposit $20 minimum or more, they will match up to $50 on that. So that's
good stuff.
Use that code FANTASYCHAIRMEN or just Chairmen, and that's plural. CHAIRMEN.
Go get some free money, people. Have some fun.
That's right. Okay. Well, without further ado, Alex, do we
want to tell them about the drawing? That's this Sunday.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you reminded me. I skipped over that in the notes here. Oh, we have a drawing this Sunday. You've been hearing about it. Drawing for a Todd Gurley Rams signed jersey or an Allen Robinson signed Chicago Bears jersey. And all of this money goes to benefit the Roundup City Racers, a nonprofit youth track and field organization that does all sorts of things for the youth track and field athletes and high school track and field and cross-country athletes of Pendleton, Oregon. And we partnered with them to try and help them raise some money, do a little bit of fundraising, especially with the all the hard times from COVID. You know, a lot of youth sports organizations in particular were not able to operate and not able to do any sort of fundraising or anything like that. So a lot of those are out some money. So it's, you know, potentially some high school seniors could be missing out on some scholarship money. Some athletes that, you know, otherwise couldn't afford equipment or uniforms or whatever going into these seasons now that sports are kind of getting up and running again. We want to try and help them be able to afford that. So go to FANTASYCHAIRMEN.com, click on the Pay It Forward tab, and you can fill in your how many tickets you want. You can purchase those tickets there. And then, don't forget, with the purchase of one ticket for $5, if you go to our Instagram page at FantasyChairmenPod or on Twitter at ChairmenFantasy, and you find our posts there and our pinned tweet there, you can do our Twitter Twitter promo and our Instagram promo to earn up to 50 free tickets with the purchase of one.
That's wild.
$5 essentially for 50 tickets.
So get in there, purchase a ticket, do all the Instagram and tweets.
Yep. It's
do all that stuff, and you can get up to 50 free tickets, people. Win a signed Todd Gurley jersey or a signed Allen Robinson jersey. Hurry up.
That's right. And it's super easy. Just
We're drawing on Sunday.
Tag some friends, like it, retweet it, share it, all that good stuff. And you get the chance for all those free tickets. It's filling up fast, so you're going to want as many tickets as you can get. We are drawing at noon on Sunday, and we're going to try to bring that to you live either on YouTube or possibly Instagram or Twitter there. And somebody will find out whether they're going to be winning one of those jerseys or not.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, now, thank you for reminding me about the drawing, and we will get into the NFL news.
And now it's time for your NFL news.
Well, the only real big piece of news so far this last week was the New York Giants signed Devontae Freeman to a 1-year, $3 million deal. So he will be thrown into the running back mix there with Saquon Barkley, spoiler alert, going on the IR after he thrashed his knee.
You might be wondering, why would they have signed Devonta Freeman if Saquon's there? Well,
that's why.
He's gone.
So that's the only real big piece of news. But we've got a slew of injuries, so we're just going to try and run through them. We might elaborate on a couple of big ones here, but we'll try not to spend too awfully much time on each one. So out of Sunday's games, I mean, I got a whole list here, an entire page worth of injuries. To kick it off, Julio Jones came out with a hamstring injury. He went into the game with kind of a nagging hamstring injury, and it looked like it was still bothering him during the game. So,
yep. And if you have Julio on your teams, you definitely noticed.
Yes,
I
did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I got him in a couple places too, and not helpful this week.
Not helpful. Drew Lock exited the game with a shoulder injury. He is not been put on the IR, so Vic Fangio hoping to get him back here within a week or two. So he's been deemed week to week.
Pain, Alex, pain.
DJ Chark actually got ruled out of this game tonight with a chest injury. I'm not exactly sure. They weren't very specific on it, but got ruled out. So they're gonna wait for the long weekend to hopefully get him back next week.
He is not in the game right now. I do not see DJ Chark out there.
Sammy Watkins exited the game with a nasty shot to the head. He was, I don't know if he was put in the concussion protocol, but it said that he was listed on the injury report with a head injury.
Yeah.
I believe he's still not practicing right now.
As soon as I saw that hit, I was like, Sam. In the fourth quarter, Sammy Watkins doesn't catch a pass, doing typical Sammy Watkins things. Has just a great week 1, and then you don't hear a word from him.
Oh yeah,
the
Pretty
whole
typical.
game, and then catches a pass and gets just absolutely hammered.
Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs both came out of Monday night's game with injuries. Darren Waller was listed with a knee injury. Josh Jacobs with a hip. You kind of saw during the game there they were working on him. Neither of them were practicing today, so that's something you want to watch on Friday. Make sure you're keeping up to date on that one. Brian Edwards was also injured in that game with a foot injury, and he was not practicing either. So a trio there. You got to
after just a phenomenal game from the Raiders. If
Yeah.
that is anything to them, whew.
Darren Waller's knees must have been giving out from running all those routes and catches,
For
man.
real, man. He had himself a day.
Tyrod Taylor, holy cow, was ruled out right before game time.
Oh, and I had Tyrod starting in a couple super flex spots, and
the reason,
my gosh,
the only reason we got was it was a chest injury, and then we later found out that he experienced some chest tightness and some shortness of breath, which
why was his breath short, Alex?
His breath was short because he had a muscular injection near the ribs, an IM injection, intramuscular injection to help relieve some pain that he had from some cracked ribs.
Okay.
The doctor inserted the needle too far and actually punctured his rim, giving him a pneumothorax, which creates chest in the cavity or air in the chest cavity that's not contained to the lungs, which creates chest tightness and shortness of breath, which he had to be taken to the hospital for.
So wait, it punctured his lung.
The doctor punctured his lung. Now, it can...
The doctor is fired.
The lung can heal. He is considered week to week at this point. But I don't see any reason to rush him back with what Herbert did.
Well, it makes sense that he had shortness of breath, Alex.
Yes, makes a lot of sense. Speaking of shortness of breath, Cam Akers injured his ribs, some cracked cartilage. He had to leave the game early. Malcolm Brown broke his finger. Sounds like he's going to be able to keep up and play this week.
Oh, man. Darrell Henderson could be a good play.
Yep, could be a sneaky play.
I don't think Malcolm Brown's going to be doing much with a hurt finger there.
Julian Edelman appears to have come out of Sunday's game with a knee injury that could just be some soreness. Didn't practice today. Keep an eye on that. That could just be a veteran day off. Jameson Crowder came out with a hamstring injury. He's already been ruled doubtful for this week, so make the adjustments if you had him in your lineup. Rashad Perriman had an ankle injury.
Oh, man. What is going on?
I believe he's been ruled doubtful as well.
I think so.
Injuries. This is about half of them, people. Keep hanging in there. Jalen Reagor got placed on IR with a thumb ligament injury.
Yeah, the UCL, a torn UCL.
Yep.
And 6 to 8 weeks is what they're saying for Jalen Reagor. And they are down to, I believe, 4 healthy wide receivers. I think Alshon Jeffrey returned in a limited fashion today. They was seen with this helmet during like walkthroughs or something like that.
They need something.
But, oh man, Dallas
Make some
Goedert
trades,
and
do
Zach Ertz.
something. Yep.
Fire them up.
Juju missed
Keep 'em
practice
fired up.
yesterday and today with a knee injury, so keep an eye on that. Deontay Johnson had a toe injury. I believe he was back at practice today in a limited fashion.
Yep.
Raheem Mostert had a hyperextended knee. Man, Niners can't catch a break.
No, they cannot.
Sounds like he's going to be out a couple of weeks. Tevin Coleman also had a knee injury. Sounds like his was more severe. He was put on the 3-week IR, so don't plan to have him for 3 weeks.
Nope.
Jimmy G, diagnosed with a high ankle sprain, left the game at halftime. Nick Mullins came in and took over the rest of the game for him, but they have some optimism for Jimmy G that he could make it back either next week or the week after. Jonnu Smith was listed on the injury report with an ankle injury. Dawson Knox, concussion. Both of those guys haven't been practicing, so keep an eye on that. Devontae Adams' hamstring injury also hasn't been practicing. That's a big one to keep an eye on.
I'm already getting injury fatigue here. This is
Will Fuller with a hamstring injury had 0 targets for 0 catches in the game.
no.
So obviously hurt him a little bit. A.J. Brown still dealing with a knee bruise. and is not practicing this week. And then, the injured reserve players. We have Christian McCaffrey that was dealt a high ankle sprain right there at the end of the game. He's been put on the 3-week IR list.
Man.
Saquon Barkley's out for the year after tearing up his ACL and PCL. I think it was both of them. Oof. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's just ACL.
I think his was just ACL.
Sterling Shepard placed on the 3-week IR list with a toe injury, some turf toe.
Man.
And then, Tevin Coleman with a knee injury placed on IR, and then Cortland Sutton placed on season-ending IR.
Yeah.
That was the worst one. Yeah. Apparently, it was described as his knee was tore up.
Yeah, there were alerts that came through that just straight up said Cortland Sutton tore his knee up and could be done for the year. And you hear that, and you're just like, what? What? And, oh, man. As a Broncos fan, it just sucks. But for Cortland Sutton, that is just a guy who was supposed to have kind of a breakout season. Came into that game off an AC joint sprain. Was hurting a little bit, was playing through that. And then just right in the middle of the game, gets his knee tore up.
I'm sure all Broncos fans are sympathizing with you, but the New York Giants fans and the Panthers fans have no sympathy right now for you.
No. Giants fans, Panthers fans, San Francisco fans.
Everybody hurting.
And Denver fans right now are all feeling the same pain. But not as much pain as all these NFL players have been experiencing. So we hope that they can recover well and just that they can all get back to being healthy 100% because the game is better with all these guys in it. And it sucks to see them all go down, man.
Well
Injuries
said,
are just the worst part. Hate it.
Well, that's it for injuries.
I just saw Gardner Minshew just get lit up on a 4th and 6 too, by the way.
That's a bummer.
Brutal.
A couple of we want to do a little waiver pickup segment here.
Let's give some of the waiver predictions on, everybody went crazy on the waiver wire because of all the injuries here.
Oh, yeah.
So most leagues, they'll process either daily or they'll push through on Wednesday morning. So you've already seen all the waivers come through in your league. You've seen what kind of fab money, if you're playing fab, which you should be, that your league mates spent or that you potentially spent. And for some of these guys, Alex, I don't know that it would be worth spending that money on.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit. Let's bring up the first one. This guy went for the most money in our league. I'm sure he went for a lot of money in a lot of other leagues.
Most of them, yep.
Mike Davis, running back for the Carolina Panthers, who's going to be taking over for Christian McCaffrey while he's out.
Yep. I feel like people spent up almost in the hopes that you would get Christian McCaffrey-like production out of Mike Davis, which I just think is silly to expect.
Which I will say, being a Seahawks fan, I have seen Mike Davis play plenty, and I've actually been a fan of his. But
I do like Mike Davis.
He's a very capable pass-catching running back that can also operate between the tackles. So it's not going to be, 20 points a game per se, I don't imagine, but Mike Davis can be an admirable fill-in.
Yeah, for sure. I think he has the potential for big weeks. I don't think you're going to get consistency like you would out of McCaffrey for sure. But with Mike Davis, man, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. There's speculation on Curtis Samuel potentially taking reps out of the
I'm sure he'll get
backfield.
I'm sure he'll get a few carries on some end arounds and stuff, but they would be silly to be sending Curtis Samuel multiple times just into the back of the through tackles and guards. He's not going to last.
Just for the fab money that you had to spend on Mike Davis in order to get him. I mean, in ours he went for $50, which we have $100 fab budget, so that's half. I mean, I guess a lot of teams out of necessity were probably having to spend up on him. I don't know. I just don't see him being as good enough of a fill-in to be a league winner, I guess.
Well, he's not going to be a league winner if McCaffrey comes back in 3 weeks. So,
well, that's true. You can rely on him for at least a minimum of 3 weeks.
Minimum.
I guess.
Next couple of guys are both on the same team here. Dion Lewis was looking to be the big-time signing there with the Giants through the Fab system here. Lots of people picked him up. Devontae Freeman signed yesterday, so lots of people picked up Devontae as well if he was available. Which one are you feeling like you want more than the other?
Ugh.
I'll be honest, I don't want either of them.
I really don't know. I mean, man, Devonta Freeman's a pass-catching back. He's been good at that in the past, but we saw kind of what Devonta Freeman was in a system that he was familiar with last year, and it still wasn't great. And then Saquon struggled behind this O-line. So if the likes of Saquon struggling behind it, man, I don't know. I think Devonta Freeman's going to be running hard, trying to set himself up for a contract for next year, just with somebody, whatever he can get probably. So I think you're going to see potentially a fire out of Devonta Freeman, and I think he's going to be running hard. So if I had to take one, I'm probably taking Devonta Freeman because he's going to get the early down work, and if he shows that he still has at least some chops in the receiving game, then he'll at least get part of the receiving work. Whereas Dion Lewis, I think, is just going to get part of the receiving work or maybe even all of it. But I don't know. If I had to take one, I would take Devonta Freeman, I guess.
My advice, unless you are running back needy, is to sit them both on your bench and wait and see what it looks like.
That's exactly what I would do.
Last one I got here is Jeff Wilson Jr. of the San Francisco 49ers running backs. I was going to put Jerick McKinnon on here, but from what I noticed in all the leagues that I'm in, people already had him on their bench, kind of as a stash.
He was in leagues that we're in. I think that we are in leagues with pretty savvy fantasy football players, and so a lot of people were already taking flyers, like late round flyers on Jerick McKinnon, whereas in the majority of leagues, I can't remember. A lot of people have already talked about all these players this week because, this was the big news and people were trying to get waiver opinions and things like that put out there. And I can't remember what owner percentage Jerick McKinnon was that was mentioned on a few of the shows around there. But I know I don't think it was over 50% at all. I think it was actually still fairly... at least under 50% owned.
We'll throw them in here just for the sake of the argument here. So Jeff Wilson and Jerick McKinnon together. If I had to choose between one or the other, honestly, I think I would be taking Jeff Wilson Jr. I like Jerick McKinnon a lot. In PPR leagues, he's going to be able to rack up a lot of points in the receiving game, but Jeff Wilson Jr., he's going to be getting those highly coveted goal line carries. Even last year, with a healthy Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman, Jeff Wilson, for the first 4 games, he was the goal line back. They inserted him when they got close. I think Jeff Wilson's going to get some run here as long as Mostert and Coleman are out, and if he impresses enough, man, who knows? I mean, Kyle Shanahan's system pumps out running backs.
That's for sure.
Could be
definitely.
He could just stick with the hot hand as long as he's got it.
Yeah, McKinnon showed that he still has that explosive ability. I mean, I think he got 3 carries in this last game, and one went for 70 yards. So he had 77 total yards, I believe, and a touchdown. And then I think he caught 4. I think he got 4 receptions.
If they want to be smart, they want to make sure that they don't overexpose the guy that hasn't played football in the last 2 years. Make sure that he's good to go.
Yep. So I'm probably still with you on Jeff Wilson there. But again, this may be a situation where
if you're running back needy, start Jeff Wilson. But if not, or start either of them if you're needy.
Yeah,
but
if you're really running back needy, start either of them. I'm starting Jerick McKinnon in a couple spots just because we have large starting rosters and teams got hit with the injury bug in a couple of leagues. So I am putting Jerick McKinnon in my flex, one of the flex spots in a few leagues where I've got like 3 or 4 flex spots I got to fill up. So, it's ugly out there right now. I mean, I don't know what other guys came through. Drew Sample was a big waiver pickup this week. We saw how heavily he was targeted by Joe Burrow, especially after CJ Uzomah went down with a season-ending injury.
Oh, I guess I didn't put him
We
on
forgot
the injury
about
list.
we forgot about CJ Uzomah.
He had an Achilles
tore
injury.
his Achilles.
So.
Just saw it happen. I mean, as soon as you saw it too, you knew. You're like, oh man, there goes the Achilles.
Yep.
Oh, and halftime of the Thursday night football game here, Miami Dolphins leading the Jacksonville Jaguars 21-7. Just in case you're not watching and you're listening to us after the game. Spoiler.
Drew Sample
spoiler
could
alert.
be a sneaky pickup. It seems like Joe Burrow likes to target the tight ends so far and the slot receivers, which is kind of reminiscent from what he was doing with LSU. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Man, and I saw him go for all over the map as far as fab percentage went because, well, a couple of them were tight end premium type leagues, and so he went for some heavy money. I saw him go for like 52 or something in there.
Jeez.
I had another league where he went for 37. You got him for 17 in our Dynasty League, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what he went for in the League of Origin. But anyway, yeah, he was just kind of all over the map. I saw him go for 10 in another league. So all depends on
We'll see.
starting roster size, what your scoring rules are, things like that. But I was highly impressed with the target share that he got with Joe Burrow after Uzomah was out of there too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he had a sick one-handed catch.
He did. He's got some hands.
That was just nice, man. Drew Sample.
All right, that's it for the waiver wire pickups.
That does it for the waiver wire pickups, eh? All right. Well, now that we've finished up on that, we're going to get into our speed preview.
Speed preview. Let's
Speed
do
preview.
it.
Hey, Alex.
What?
So when you're on a boat and you're on like a rocky ocean, and you're drifting out to sea, what's the best way to keep your boat like sturdy and just staying still?
Oars?
No, not even close. You throw out your anchor.
Oh, your anchor. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
You throw out your anchor. You know what I like to do to keep my podcast steady and just sturdy while everything else seems to be rocky and wavy around me?
Not oars, right?
Not oars. It's Anchor again.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Anchor.fm. Let me explain. This app is free, completely free to host your podcast on.
Like 100% free?
100% free. And you get unlimited storage for all your episodes.
Unlimited?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
As Russell Wilson would say.
Yes.
That's right. It's also got creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
Well, I'm all about that.
I know. And it also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on the likes of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them.
What's not to like?
It's great. You can even make money from your podcast, Alex.
And we're all about that.
And you don't need minimum listenership. So,
That's
I mean, that's a real good thing. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You need to download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I'm getting right on it right now.
Keep your boat and your podcast sturdy. All right. Week 3 has begun for the National Football League, and that means Week 3 has begun for your fantasy football leagues. And we're going to give you a quick breakdown of all the matchups, all 16 matchups. I guess we don't need to talk so much about Dolphins and Jaguars here.
Yeah, probably not.
But all 15 of the other matchups, we'll give you a quick breakdown. We're going to try to keep our previews of each game to under 1 minute, Alex. Speed preview. Speed preview. Until we get to our jackpot, we might be able to elaborate on that a little bit more. But speaking of jackpot, man,
Yeah. Our jackpot matchup from last week was not as
we apologize.
much of a jackpot as we thought.
If you tried to go all in on the Minnesota Vikings versus the Indianapolis Colts, because
Kirk Cousins had a rough game.
Oh man, it was bad. It was really, what was like 93 yards and 3 interceptions?
It's terrible.
Like 9 completions.
Terrible. The week before he went off for like 3 or 4 touchdowns too.
Man.
Over 300 yards. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that didn't help us in the hot prop and locket there either.
It did not.
Man.
We're going to try and redeem ourselves.
So we are, I would say that we're 1-1 for jackpot matchups thus far. And you know what? Batting 500 right now. We're going to, like we said, we're going to try not to go chalk, but we are going to pick those matchups that we think have the high scoring potential. So
that's right.
We've got a good one for you this week. And you're going to want every piece of that game that you could possibly get.
Oh, most definitely.
We'll get there. All right. Well, I'll start it off, I guess, with Thursday night game. It's happening right now. Miami Dolphins versus Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are we really going to go over this?
Nope.
Let's just move
it's
on.
It's halftime.
Yep.
Miami's winning 21-7. Preston Williams, Jordan Howard, and Mike Gesicki and James Robinson all have touchdowns so far. So there you go.
Yep. And Minshew is playing all right. Fitzmagic's having a good game too.
Yep.
So.
Fitzmagic. Started him in a couple of deep leagues. So that's always nice when you get the Fitzmagic.
That bearded wonder.
All right. So you go ahead and jump into the next one here, Alex.
All right,
and I'm starting the timer.
All
Ready,
right.
set, go.
First matchup on the slate here Sunday morning. San Francisco 49ers at the New York Giants. Niners were kind of worried about the field conditions, which they were actually looked at by the NFL. It's all clear, ready to go there. It passed the NFL inspections. Man, on the 49ers side of the ball there, we already talked about Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson, 2 guys that you might consider wanting to start if you need to. I don't know if there's a single 49ers wide receiver that I want to. George Kittle sounds like he might go, but I honestly would put him on the bench and wait till he shows it to me.
If you have a viable fill-in, then I probably would. But, man, it's so if George Kittle starts, it's almost like you got to start him.
New York Giants running backs, we kind of talked about Deion Lewis, Devontae Freeman. You might just wait to see unless you really need him. Darius Slayton, I would probably start. Evan Ingram I'd start as well.
Sterling Shepard's out
Sterling
of here.
Shepard, yeah. Golden Tate probably as well. So that's about it.
There you go. Good work.
Okay, next one.
All right. We've got the Washington football team. Whoa. What's going on here? Okay, Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. And we saw a little resurgence from the Browns players, which we were hoping to see last Thursday. If you're going against the Washington football team here, I would be starting Odell Beckham, starting Nick Chubb, starting Kareem Hunt, man. I think both those running backs are in that tier where you just plug them in and let them ride. Baker Mayfield, I'm still, if you've got a better fill-in, I'd start another quarterback probably.
Wait till you see it. Put him on your bench. Wait till you see it.
Yeah, I'm probably still out on Jarvis Landry if you've got a better option. Washington football team, starting Terry McLaurin, could take a flyer on Steven Sims. The Browns secondary is still a little banged up there. As far as running backs go, if you have to start one, I'd do Antonio Gibson. But other than that, I don't know.
Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin. Yep, I said Terry McLaurin. If you're needy at tight end, Logan Thomas could be a good plug and play there. Don't start Austin Hooper.
Next matchup is the Bengals at the Eagles. Bengals side of the football, Joe Mixon, I know he's been having a rough time, but keep putting him out there. He's going to go off here at any moment. You don't want to have him on your bench when he goes off. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow, I would consider starting. If you kind of have an iffy other person there as your quarterback, I would consider Joe Burrow, which I'm seriously considering starting Burrow over Deshaun Watson at this point.
If you have Baker Mayfield as your other quarterback, I would start Joe Burrow over Baker.
Wide receivers, A.J. Green. I would start A.J. Green just from a volume standpoint. Tyler Boyd as well. I'm going to start Tyler Boyd. Drew Sample might be one to consider. On the Eagles side of the ball, I'm starting Miles Sanders. Carson Wentz, man, he's having some rough weeks as well. I might kind of put him on the bench if you have a better option.
I would start Joe Burrow over Carson Wentz.
There are 0 Eagles wide receivers I want to be starting currently right now, and I would start Goddard and Ertz if I had a choice on both of them.
For sure. I would almost start both of them if I had both of them.
Yep.
All right, next one. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the New England Patriots. And Cam is Cam right now, man. Start Cam. That guy has 4 rushing touchdowns through 2 weeks. It's insane. You're starting to see a little bit of a connection with N'Keal Harry there. I'd still be hesitant to start him, but if he probably got picked up off waivers, but if he's still there, I would potentially pick him up off waivers if you've got the spot on your bench. Julian Edelman had the highest receiving yardage of his career. If he is, I can't remember if he was hurting or not this week, but if he's healthy, I would start Julian Edelman for sure in this. As far as running backs go, I'd like to stay away from the backfield because Cam's just going to be taking those.
James White.
Maybe James White if he's out there, and condolences to him for his parents.
10 seconds for the Raiders.
I know. Hey, I'm getting used to this timer here. Raiders, we heard about the injuries to Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs and Bryan Edwards, but if they're there, start Waller, start Jacobs. I would start Derek Carr as well. So
against the Patriots defense, you think?
Yeah.
Man, all right.
Dude's slinging it.
You're feeling the car.
Dude's slinging it.
All right.
Yeah, Patriots defense isn't quite scaring me as much as it used to.
All right, next matchup is the Bears at the Falcons. On the Bears side of the ball, Trubisky seems like he's making it. He's a capable quarterback right now. He's keeping the Bears. He's getting them in wins. So.
And he's going against the Falcons, who have allowed the quarterback one the past 2 weeks.
So it might be a week to start Trubisky with confidence. David Montgomery, I'm starting him as well. He's getting lots of carry. I like to.
Let's go, Monty.
Like what I'm seeing out of him. Allen Robinson, I know he's been having a couple tough.
He's
weeks.
like AJ Green. He's getting the targets.
Start him.
Just uncatchable.
I think this is the week that he goes off. So start your Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, there's no one else that I'm really confident starting on the Bears. Falcons side of the ball, I know it's kind of a tough start against the Bears defense. Keep an eye on what Julio Jones is doing with that hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting Calvin Ridley. You're probably starting Todd Gurley because you don't have any better options. Hayden Hurst, I would probably consider starting him as well. And then Matt Ryan, I mean, guy's been throwing shootouts every week, so I think he's still going to be in a shootout. So start Matt Ryan. If you're thin and especially if you have a couple of flex spots, I would definitely consider putting Russell Gage into the flex. That is a sneaky one to consider
as well. I mean, that guy,
especially if Julio sits.
If Julio sits, fire up Russell Gage because man, the Falcons are just throwing the ball like crazy right now. It's insane. All right. Next one, we've got the LA Rams versus the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen, man.
Start Josh Allen, man.
He's a freak right now.
He's just
threw over
weird.
400 yards last week, and
he hadn't thrown over 400 yards before last week in his career.
Yeah, in his career, he had not thrown that
is also college.
Yeah, he hadn't thrown, and they talked about this too. Over 300 yards back to back in college or professional. Fire up Josh Allen. Fire up Stephon Diggs, who has been lighting it up. John Brown too. Diggs, I might be a little hesitant with. Jalen Ramsey probably going to be shadowing him. I'm still starting Diggs. I'm sorry, just with what he's done, I'm still starting Diggs. Okay. John Brown, I'm starting him. Sounds like Zach Moss was a little banged up in practice, so Devin Singletary could be a sneaky good play in here, especially if Zach Moss is hurting at all and they limit him. On the Rams side, got to play Robert Woods, got to play Cooper Kupp. You have to play Tyler Higbee. After that 3-touchdown game last week.
Oh, yeah.
I would be, I don't know, a little hesitant on Jared Goff just going up against the Bills defense. But, I mean, dude's got the weapons around him, and you likely don't have a better option at quarterback. If you've got Goff and Burrow, I'm probably playing Burrow.
Yep.
Just saying. All right.
And the running backs for the Rams, I'm scared to play any of them.
If you play one, play Darrell Henderson this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, next matchup is Texans at the Steelers on the Texans side of the ball. I already kind of told you, Deshaun Watson, unless you have a plus matchup for your other option, you probably have to start Deshaun. We talked about Deshaun and Burrow. I'm considering starting Burrow just because Deshaun's going to be running for his life.
One big question mark was Minshew or Deshaun Watson, and a lot of people started Minshew over Watson.
Ugh.
So
yeah. Fuller, I don't know if I'm starting him. I want to see what's going on with that hamstring. Like Brandon Cooks, kind of the same thing as well. David Johnson, you probably don't have any better options from where you drafted him. I'd probably start David Johnson.
He's been looking fine, but against the Steelers, that's a little bit scary. Yeah.
Steelers side of the ball, I'm starting Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm starting Deontay Johnson.
If he's healthy, you got to keep an eye on that.
Yep, I'm starting James Conner, and I might be starting Ben Roethlisberger this week too. He usually plays really well at home, so
I would fire up Roethlisberger.
I'd do it to it,
for sure. But yeah, keep an eye on Juju Smith-Schuster because he missed practice today with that injury. All right, next matchup we've got Tennessee Titans versus the Minnesota Vikings. And, man, fire up your Titans because the Minnesota Vikings defense is just atrocious right now. So Ryan Tannehill's been on a tear. I'm starting Tannehill, over a majority of the quarterbacks in the league right now. For this matchup, at least. I would start Corey Davis in this matchup, especially if A.J. Brown is still out. If A.J. Brown is out there...
I don't think he's going to be out there.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is either. So I would stay away if you can. Derrick Henry, obviously, plug him in there. Jonnu Smith, too, has become one that I'm just thinking you put into your tight end spot and you leave him there. On the Viking side, man, I do not want to start Kirk Cousins if I don't have to. Start Dalvin Cook. Adam Thielen, I'm questioning. I don't know that I guess you probably have to. You probably don't have a better option unless you hit later in the draft or you've got depth at wide receiver. So you're probably plugging Thielen in there.
All right, next matchup that we got here, we got the Panthers and the Chargers. We kind of talked about Mike Davis a little bit. If you blew a bunch of money on him, I'd probably be starting Mike Davis this week. Teddy Bridgewater, he's not really getting you the big-time numbers that you really would be looking for in a quarterback. If you got a better option, I'd start the better option. Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, I'm probably starting both of them. Mm-hmm. Robbie Anderson is actually the wide receiver 7 or 8 right now. Do you know that?
Yeah.
So I'm starting him until, if he goes for 3 in a row, he's on fire, NBA Jam rules.
I'm starting to get aboard that train.
Starting to get on there as well. That's about it on the Panther side of the ball. On the Chargers side of the ball, I'm starting Austin Eckler. I'm starting Keenan Allen. I'm probably starting Joshua Kelly. Yeah. He's getting a lot of run.
That's what I was going to say.
It's really looking like the Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler of old.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You could probably start both of them, especially against this Panthers defense.
Mike Williams, I probably would start if I don't have a better option than him, and then Hunter Henry you're starting as well.
For sure. Justin Herbert likely going to be the starting quarterback there.
I would consider starting him if you've got
Kirk Cousins and Justin Herbert, you're starting Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Yeah. If you've got Derek Carr or Justin Herbert, what are you doing?
Ooh, man, I don't know. It's a tough one. Oof. Patriots.
If Waller and
Patriots
Jacobs
at Gillette Field.
Ooh, that's true. Man,
I think I'm going Herbert.
Yeah, I don't know. If Waller and Jacobs are healthy, I might still go Carr just because. But I don't know. Herbert was slinging. Man, I would go Carr this week just to sit on the rookie and see if he does it one more time. But that's close. That's really close for me.
Rolling it.
You are rolling it. All right. Oh, this one looks ugly. We've got the New York Jets versus the Indianapolis Colts. And, man, Phillip Rivers is starting to kind of look like what we expected him to look like before the season.
Yep.
Kind of like the last season of Peyton Manning there. And he does not have the defense to carry him anywhere.
Horse glue.
Definitely start Jonathan Taylor there. And as far as pass catchers go,
Nyheim Hines might be in consideration. I know he kind of he gave you a stinker last week, but it might be one to consider.
Yeah, without Paris Campbell is out for indefinitely, so
that's another one I missed.
He could pick up. Yeah, there were so many. He could pick up some more receiving work. If you have to start Ty, then I guess do it. But otherwise, I'm sitting him down.
Pittman Jr. could be a consideration.
Yep, or Zach Pascal, but I lean Pittman Jr.
5 seconds for the Jets, man.
Yeah,
let's make this really easy.
Yeah, don't play Jets. Don't play any of your Jets.
There you go. That's simple.
That's why I took the entire minute for the Colts.
I knew what you were doing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, our next matchup is the Cowboys at the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh! Reels are reeling.
Jackpot!
We got our jackpot matchup here, folks. And let me tell you what, you want every piece of this game you could get your paws on.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fun one.
Oh, man. On the Cowboys side of the ball, you got Dak Prescott. You're firing him up.
Start him.
All 3 of the receivers. I would consider starting all 3 of them. I'd start Amari. I'd start Michael Gallup. I would start CeeDee Lamb.
Start him.
Dalton Schultz.
If
maybe
you have to.
He did have a good game last week, so that might be one to consider, especially if this is a shootout.
I will say I would not start Dalton Schultz because
think the
Seahawks are doing very well against tight ends right now
as a Seahawks fan, our linebacking core and our safeties are probably one of the best in the NFL, and they are very good against
if there's
tight
one
ends.
piece that you don't start in this game, it's Dalton Schultz.
Yes.
He might get the targets, but Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, they're gonna light him up. So stay away from Dalton Schultz.
Ezekiel Elliott, you're starting. No-brainer there.
Yep.
That's about it on the Cowboys side of the ball. On the Seahawks side of the ball,
you're also not starting either defense.
Yes, don't start either defense. It's going to be bad. On the Seahawks side of the ball, Russell Wilson, the guy's putting on an MVP caliber season so far.
Letting him cook.
Let him cook. Keep firing him up, people.
Chef Wilson.
Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf.
In
you're
the
starting
kitchen.
Both of them. Chris Carson, you're starting him. Outside of that, the tight end for the Seahawks, it's kind of been like Greg Olsen has been out there a bunch, getting a lot of the snaps. They'll kind of sprinkle in Will Disley here and there. I think they're still trying to be cautious with him coming back from that devastating Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if you're in a real pinch for a tight end, I might start one of those guys. I would prefer Olsen over Disley at this point.
Yeah, Russ is just spreading the ball around, though, too. I mean, five touchdowns to 5 different players last week. So.
David Moore was a hot commodity on waiver wire additions as well, but he's the third wide receiver, and I'll be honest, the third wide receiver in Seattle usually doesn't get a lot of love.
No,
he caught one big play, and he got lucky on that, so if you're feeling real lucky, maybe start him, but I would not advise it.
Nope.
And, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, especially at CenturyLink.
Oh, yeah. Try to trade for one of those Cowboys or Seahawks.
I've already tried, and it has not worked.
It's not. We can't trade in our leagues, Alex. Come on, man.
People don't trade with the fanalists.
No.
Anyways, that's our jackpot matchup, people.
All right. So we are into Sunday afternoon games here, starting with the Panthers and Chargers. All right. Okay, so this matchup, we've got the Detroit Lions and the Arizona Cardinals. And on Detroit's side, Matthew Stafford. You're probably starting Matthew Stafford. You may not have a better option on your team. I mean, this is another one where you may have had Burrow along with Stafford. So I would consider putting Burrow in over Stafford at this point. I'd
start Burrow over Stafford right now.
Kenny Golladay sounds like he is going to be back. If Kenny Galladay's back, you fire him up. I'm starting Marvin Jones. I think he gets a pretty hefty target share there. For the running backs, it's kind of starting to look more like DeAndre Swift is coming on.
I think he's going to – well, I kind of predicted that he would be a back end towards the season. Like
that's what I was
point,
thinking.
He'll start to take over. He's actually taking most of the running back snaps.
Yep. So you probably have to start DeAndre Swift if you drafted him. So feel fairly comfortable about putting him in. And I took all my time with the Lions, but Cardinals, start D-Hop, start Kyler, start Kenyon Drake, and then stay away from the rest of the receivers there.
It's really hit or miss on them.
Kenyon Drake, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
All right. Next one.
Next matchup is Buccaneers and Broncos. On the Broncos side of the ball, well, actually, let's do Buccaneers first. Yeah. Buccaneers side of the ball.
It's easy.
Tom Brady, man, he's just kind of been mediocre so far, but maybe it might just take – this could be the week that he goes off. So – especially with the Broncos defense really hurting, I'd probably start Tom Brady this week. Mike Evans, you're starting. Chris Godwin, it looks like he is off the concussion protocol list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm firing up Chris Godwin. Yep. Ronald Jones and oh my gosh,
Leonard Fournette. I got you.
I'm blanking on it there. Leonard Fournette, man. You probably don't have better options. If I had to pick between one of them, I'm probably starting Leonard Fournette right now just because recency biased.
Yep.
So, but Ronald Jones isn't a terrible option. On the Broncos side of the ball, man, Jerry Jeudy and Melvin Gordon and Noah Fant. That's probably the only people that I'm starting with confidence.
If you got really hurt by the injury bug and you've got a deep starting roster, KJ Hamler saw quite a few looks. I think he got 6 or 7 targets. Actually, it might have even been 8 targets, 6
I picked him up in the big league. Just kind of put him on the bench to see what happens.
Yeah,
you know?
So KJ Hamler could be sneaky. I mean, the kid can fly.
Yep.
He is fast. And he's a pretty nifty route runner as well. So
I picked him up just in case.
So, might be a sit and wait situation on him there. But if he's still sitting on waivers, you might want to take a look at him.
Just put him on the end of your bench. See what happens.
For sure. All right, next one, we've got the Sunday night football game between the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. And, man, it's sounding like the top 2 wide receivers for both these are in this matchup may not be there. Devontae Adams hasn't been practicing or very limited on the side.
Yep.
Michael Thomas has not been practicing. Michael Thomas with the high ankle sprain. Devontae Adams with a hamstring strain. So, man, that hurts if both those guys are out. On the Saints side, you're firing up Alvin Kamara. I am hesitant on Drew Brees.
I'm not starting Drew Brees.
He has not looked
Don't
himself.
start Drew Brees. He has not looked himself.
I started Gardner Minshew over Drew Brees in a league. Other than that, man.
Jared Cook, maybe.
Yeah, Jared Cook, you're probably starting him in your tight end spot. Emmanuel Sanders, I thought he was going to do something. Nothing.
Don't start him.
Traquan Smith,
nope.
Staying away. On the Packers side, if Adams is out, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Alan Lazard, you're firing up Aaron Rodgers because he's on a tear, and then obviously Aaron Jones.
Yep.
You are starting Aaron Jones. Mm-hmm. So
I like it.
All right, Monday night game, last matchup right here, Alex.
This was our honorary jackpot matchup. We were deciding between 2, and we went with the Seahawks-Cowboys. But this game,
the chalk jackpot.
This is going to be a fireworks show, I think, as well. So it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. On the Chiefs side of the ball, don't get cute, people. We know the Baltimore Ravens defense is very good. You're starting Patrick Mahomes. You're starting, blanking.
Tyreek Hill.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Okay.
You're going to start Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well. Tyreek Hill, you're starting. And Travis Kelce, you're going to start as well. Mm-hmm. Sammy Watkins, I don't think I've seen him practice yet, so I would keep an eye on that. Stay away from him.
Stay away from Sammy
Mecole
Watkins.
Hardman. If Sammy Watkins is out, I might consider Mecole Hardman, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But keep an eye on the injury reports there for that. On the Ravens side of the ball, you're starting Lamar Jackson. You're starting Marquise Hollywood Brown. If they're in a shootout, they're going to need to go back to him. You're starting Mark Andrews.
Yep,
the
no
running
questions
backs,
asked.
The running backs are a little scary for me. If I had to pick one, I'm starting Mark Ingram now. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be another one of those. Maybe midpoint of the season, he might start to take over. But
I think it's.
I got burned last week starting him. So
I think it's mostly dependent on game script there. I think if you see the Ravens get up big, then you're going to see a lot more J.K. Dobbins. Whereas if they're a little closer game, they're in a fight, which is probably going to be the case in this one. Yeah, I think you're going to see more Mark Ingram.
I think so.
And potentially some Gus Edwards sprinkled in there.
I think you'll see more Mark Ingram / Dobbins than you will Mark Ingram / Gus Edwards.
This could be a surprise letdown as far as jackpot goes, just because that Ravens defense is extremely stingy. And the Chiefs defense is
they're not bad.
They're underrated as far as fantasy goes and have been for a while. So, as far as jackpot goes, maybe we see not as high of expectations as we see. But this also reminds me of the Monday night game with the LA Rams.
Oh, yeah.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, where you just see everybody.
Drag out.
And that is something that I could see happening in this game, which would actually be
there was literal smoke on the field from the fireworks in the stands,
which would really be fun to see. I would love to see another game like that because that was insane. And that was 2 years ago. That was 2018, wasn't it? Oh man, that was a fun game. Even the defenses went off in that one because they just kept scoring touchdowns. They were allowing all sorts of points and yards, but man, I'd love to see that.
All right. That was our speed preview.
That was the speed preview, and we are going to get into Hot Prop and Lock It. Okay, time for Hot Prop and Lock It, brought to you by our friends at Thrive Fantasy. Come and hashtag prop up with us, the Fantasy Chairmen and the Fantasy Sasquatch on Thrive Fantasy. Get in there, play those player props to set your fantasy lineup and score points based on whether you hit the correct over or the correct under guess on those player props. Week 3 of the NFL is upon us, and Thrive Fantasy has another great lineup of contests. You can win up to $30,000. That's right, $30,000.
$30,000.
Oh, man, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of moolah.
Get into Thrive Fantasy, sign up, and use our promo code FANTASYCHAIRMEN or just Chairmen, and they will match up to $50 when you deposit minimum $20 or more. That's right, they'll match up to $50 when you deposit minimum $20 or more. Thrive Fantasy NFL Week 3 is here. Get in there. Hashtag prop up on Thrive Fantasy. And you guys, we got through week 2 of Hot Prop and Lock It. And after 2 weeks, Alex is still leading right now with 7 correct. I jumped up 1 on you, Matt, with getting 1 more correct than you did. And now I'm at 6, and you, sir, are at 5. So, welcome to the show, Fantasy Squatch, by the way.
Come on, man.
So just to cover the results of week 2, we had Kirk Cousins over under 19.5 completions. Alex and I said over. Matt said under. So Matt was extremely correct on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't get over 100 yards.
Oh, no, 19 and a half completions, man. He only had 9 completions.
Yeah. Well, that's why he only got 97 yards or whatever it was.
Yeah, 93, I think.
Gross.
And 3 interceptions. That should have been an over-under.
He's good.
Man, Josh Allen, 260.5 passing plus rushing yards. All 3 of us said the over on that, so we all got that. How about Josh Allen going over 400 yards there, Squatch? Good stuff.
Legit.
Mark Andrews, 64.5 receiving yards. Alex and Matt both said over. I said under, so I got that one right. I think he only had like 20-something.
Yeah, it wasn't a
maybe
good
even
game.
like only 16. He did not have a great day. The next one was Cooper Kupp over under 5.5 receptions. He only had 5 receptions. Alex and I said under. Matt said over. So Matt missed out on that one. And then Austin Eckler, 46.5 rushing yards. All 3 of us said over. We all got that correct. So we got the push on that. And so Alex ended up with 3 correct, and that was Josh Allen, 260.5 passing plus rushing yards. Cooper Kupp, 5.5 receptions. Austin Eckler, 46.5 rushing yards. I got Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, and then Matt got Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, and Austin Eckler. Going into week 3, boys. Here we go. We're going to start with me. Then we'll go to Alex, and then we'll go to Matt.
Okay.
All right. So the first prop here, we've got Cam Newton, 240.5 passing yards. 240.5 passing yards for Cam Newton going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. So
245?
240.5.
0.5.
Listen for that point. There's
point.
always going to be the 0.5 in there.
The point. PowerPoint.
That's it. PowerPoint. 240.5 passing yards. Man, I'm gonna go with the over on Cam with that. I'm gonna give him the over. Cam Newton's feeling it right now.
I'm going under.
Ooh. And Squatch, what you
Going
say?
under as well.
Going under. All right, I'll be the outlier on this one.
I think there's a whole I think both teams are going to want to run the ball a bunch, run out the clock, and first one to the end with the most points, the fastest wins.
Oh, I like the reasoning. I figured you guys would go under. I'm trying to get a jump where I can here.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Trying to get a little risky.
Sure.
Risking it for the biscuit. All right, Alex is going first on this one, followed by Matt.
Can't go broke with a profit.
Oh, Alex, you're going first, then Matt, then me. Juju Smith-Schuster, 5.5 receptions. Now, you got to be careful with this one because Juju did not practice today.
Oh, you know what? That's cheap. Oh.
I'll pick us another one out in case Juju doesn't play. How about that?
Oh, okay.
In case Juju doesn't play, I'll pick us another one here. Go ahead and give me
if Juju does play, I'll say over.
Over. If Juju plays, what do you say there, Squatch?
Who are they playing?
The Steelers are playing. Who were they playing? We just talked about them. Texans. Duh.
Oh, give me over. And also this call where they just ejected that Jaguars offensive lineman, that was
you didn't like that call?
Oh, it's awful. You guys got to see it. It's terrible.
I've got it in a very small window on my phone right now, so I missed it. But okay, I'm gonna go with the under on Juju with 5.5 receptions. All right, contrarian right now. I'm loving it.
You're either going to be up big or back big.
Okay, so for the fill-in for Juju, in case he doesn't play, we'll do the bonus one here. Keenan Allen, 4.5 receptions. Keenan Allen, 4.5 receptions.
Am I picking again?
Nope, Fantasy Squatch, you're up first. They are playing...
Over, no doubt.
Over, no doubt.
I don't even need to know.
All right, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Man, Chargers playing the Panthers. I'm going to say the over on that one as well.
Over.
Ooh. Thinking Justin Herbert's going to be in there.
He is going to be in there. He's already been declared the starter.
Has he?
He's legit.
He was declared. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured as much, but okay. Now, our next one here, we've got Jonathan Taylor, 95.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Jonathan Taylor, 95.5 rushing plus receiving yards. And this is back to me going first. I am going to say over on Jonathan Taylor.
Who are the Colts playing?
The Vikings.
You went over?
Or no, they're not playing the Vikings. They played the Vikings last week.
Yeah.
Well, then I might need to change this. I don't know. I had that in my head. Who are the Colts playing? The Jets. So I'm actually going to change mine to under. The Jets have a pretty stout run defense, actually. So
I'm going under.
All right. Squatch, what say you?
Give me the over.
Oh, okay. I like it. Next one. Russell Wilson, 23.5 completions. 23.5 completions. Now, mind you, he threw, the 5 touchdown passes on, 26 completions or 27 completions?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't necessarily have to have a bunch of completions to have a massive fantasy day. So who are we back to here? This is Alex.
Over.
Squatch.
Can you repeat it one more time? I didn't get the whole thing.
Sorry. Russell Wilson, 23.5 completions, and they're playing the Cowboys.
Oh, give me the over. That's a shootout.
Yep, I'm saying the over as well on that one. All right. Now, Matthew Stafford, 270.5 passing yards. Lions going up against the Cardinals. Matthew Stafford, 270.5 passing yards. Sasquatch, what say you?
I'm actually going to go under on this one.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm going to go with the over for Matthew Stafford, 270.5 pass yards. Alex?
I'm going to go with the over.
Why? Go under, man.
Nope. Can't give you too many contrarian picks, man.
Oh, I'm going back and saying under.
Nope, can't anymore.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Hot Prop and Lock It. Just to run back through them here really quick. Cam Newton, 240.5 passing yards. Alex and Matt said under. I said over. Juju Smith-Schuster, if he plays, 5.5 receptions. Alex and Matt said over. I said under. Jonathan Taylor, 95.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Alex and I said under. Matt said over. Russell Wilson, 23.5 completions. All three of us said over. Matthew Stafford, 270.5 passing yards. Alex and I said over. Matt said under. And then Keenan Allen, 4.5 receptions for our bonus there to fill in for Juju if he doesn't play. All three of us said the over. Fantasy Squatch, thanks for jumping on with us again. Appreciate you.
No doubt.
All right, and good luck to you guys in Hot Prop and Lock It this week. Don't forget to get on Thrive Fantasy. You can download the Thrive Fantasy app on the App Store or in the Google Play Store, or you can visit their website, www.thrivefantasy.com, and that will do it for our show today. Follow us on Twitter at Chairmen Fantasy, at FindFFLeagues, and at Fantasy Squatch, and on Instagram at Fantasy Chairman Pod.
Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and all your podcast listening devices. We appreciate it. It helps us out a lot.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget to get in that drawing. Go to www.fantasychairmen.com and go to the Pay It Forward tab to help out the Roundup City Racers. We draw on Sunday.
See you later.
Goodbye.